Hey guys, my name is Robert. If you use AI apps that let you plug in your own models through API endpoints, you know it can get messy trying to juggle all those API keys and URLs for different providers. I'm going to show you a solution that has made this way simpler for me. I'm on a Mac and I'll be using Alter as my main example because it's what I use the most for AI assistance, but this same approach works for any other app where you can plug in custom AI models. The setup I'll walk you through lets you manage everything from one place instead of having to keep track of different URLs and keys for each separate provider. I use Alter, which is an amazing AI tool that you can use all across your system. You can even use it without being a paid subscriber, in which case you will be adding your own API keys. But if you go that route, you're stuck with the ability to add only one provider. Now, this is not necessarily an issue. You could use something like OpenRouter, which gives you access to a bunch of different models through one single endpoint. But what if you need a provider OpenRouter doesn't support, or you just want to connect directly without a middleman? I'm a paid user of Alter, which gives me access to all the included models, so what I needed was something else. I wanted to get extended thinking for some of the external models that support it and use those inside Alter. While I was looking into that, I found a solution that can handle many other things. So here's what we'll do. I'm going to show you how to set up LiteLLM on your computer. This is a free proxy server that combines all your API endpoints into one URL. It's kind of like making your own personal OpenRouter server, but LiteLLM does more than just combine endpoints. You can also add parameters to your requests that some apps may not let you control directly. This can allow you, for example, to activate extended thinking like I was telling you, or web access. Maybe you want to set the temperature or max tokens depending on the model being used. You can do all that through LiteLLM. So if you are using an app that doesn't give you much control over how it handles requests, this can help you with that too. The first step is installation. You will need Homebrew on your Mac. If you don't have it, Homebrew is essentially one app store for command line tools. You can go to the website and copy this line of code. You run that in terminal and that's it. Once you have Homebrew set up, you will use it to install a tool called PIPX. PIPX is designed to help you run Python apps safely on your system. To get it, just run brew install PIPX in your terminal. Something I have to tell you is that at the time of me making this video, there's one minor detail that makes the installation a little tricky. When you install PIPX, if you don't have Python on your system, it will install the latest version, 3.14. However, LiteLLM is not compatible with this latest version yet. So what we have to do is install one previous version like this. After this, we just have to install LiteLLM, but we need to tell it to use the Python version we just installed, which is located in this path. So we do that with this. PIPX install Python, then we paste that path, Python 3, and we add LiteLLM proxy at the end. All of this process with having to install the previous Python version should not be required in the near future, so in the resources of the video, I will just give you the simple command that will allow you to install this without going through the entire process. I still wanted to cover this method in case you guys run into the same compatibility issue. Now that you have installed LiteLLM, you will need to create a configuration file. This is where you will specify exactly which models you want to make available and how to access them. I will provide you with a simple template that is already in the correct format, and the location where you save this in your hard drive is not so important because we will manually indicate the path when we run the tool. Here's what a typical entry might look like. The model name here at the top is the actual name that you will be referencing from another application when you add it. I'll show you that in a moment. Here, just below, where it says model, is where you define the actual AI model from your provider. You will see a prefix here like Grok, Cerebras, OpenAI, OpenRouter. Those are for officially supported providers. Here at the top, I am giving you a link for the full list. But if you have a provider that uses an OpenAI compatible API, you can just use the OpenAI prefix like I'm doing for this alter model here, and you can add its base URL. Oh, and one more thing, of course, make sure to add all your API keys in the respective fields. In this example I'm giving you, you will see that I'm including an OpenRouter model that has these lines where it says include reasoning. That's how you activate extended thinking. For the Anthropic models, it's slightly different. You have to add thinking type and budget tokens. When you enable thinking for Anthropic models, watch out that the temperature is set to 1 in the application where you'll be using this. If you don't need to activate reasoning, simply remove these lines and everything should work as normal. This template I'm giving you is pretty basic. If you check the LiteLLM documentation, you will find many more settings and parameters that are available, but you can still use this as a starting point. Once you got your configuration all set up, you can save it and you can test it. First, grab the path to your configuration file. In Finder, select the file and press Command-Option-C to copy the path. Open Terminal and type LiteLLM config. You paste the actual path that you copied to your configuration file. If it has a space, just make sure that you put all of this inside quotes. Then we want to specify in which port we want to set up the proxy server. Port 4000 works well. It will look like this. Once we run this, we will get a screen telling us that everything is running correctly. So now you can go to your app of choice and start adding those models that you set up in the configuration file. I'll go to Alter and show you how to do that. We open Settings and we go to the tab labeled API Keys. Under Choose Your Provider, we select Custom and then we insert http://localhost 4000. If you select Manage Models, you will see all of those that you set to work with LiteLLM. Now I will do a very quick request as a test, but before that, I have to select one of those models that I just added. I will use Sonnet Think, which uses OpenRouter. You'll notice that even though I turn on reasoning for this model, we don't actually see the AI's thinking process here in Alter. That's because Alter and some other apps will actually remove those thinking tags from the AI's response before it shows them to you. I believe we may have support for that at some point in the future, but right now, if you want to confirm it's actually working behind the scenes, you can run LiteLLM with the debugging flag. Then you will see every detail, including the reasoning steps, right in your terminal. Another way to check is by using another application that does offer support for the thinking tags, for example, TypingMind. Let's do exactly the same. We go to the Models tab, click Add a Custom Model, give it any name, let's call it Test. Notice how the endpoint URL here needs the V1 chat completions part at the end. That's pretty standard for many OpenAI compatible APIs, so just remember to add it. http://localhost 4000 V1 chat completions. In this case, you are the one who has to type the actual model name, so make sure that matches whatever you set in the configuration file. For me, it was Sonnet Think. I want to make sure that I have activated whatever this model supports, especially reasoning effort. Let's click Test. Perfect. Now I go inside an actual chat and I will select that model that I just saved and I will type hi. Here we can see all the thinking process that the model has to go through to give me my result. Once you have run a few tests and set up your models wherever you need them, you realize that you cannot close the terminal because that's the way LiteLLM stays running. To keep it in the background, what I do is set it as a launch agent. I will be giving you another template for this file, again in the description of the video. You can open this in your text editor and let me show you what you need to modify. First, we need the full path to LiteLLM. Just open the terminal and type wish LiteLLM like this. Whatever it shows you, copy that. Now paste that into this spot in the template. Next, we need the path to your configuration file, which we can grab from Finder again. Then for this next part where it says your user local bin path is just the beginning of that LiteLLM path we just copied. In my system, it looks like this. Finally, we need the path to your main user folder. In my case, it's this one. Once you have done those changes, you need to save the file specifically in this location under your user folder inside library, then launch agents. Leave the file name as it is, just change the extension to list. You'll probably see a notification letting you know that this will run every time you restart the system. If you want to run it right now, you can run a command that I will be giving you together with all the other commands in the description of the video. Once you set this up, you don't have to deal with it anymore unless you want to add more models to your configuration file. In that case, you just have to restart the server. But once it's up and running, you can close the terminal and keep using LiteLLM from any app. If you ever restart your system, this will run automatically. This one-time setup keeps everything running in the background. It gets you around the single custom API endpoint limitation in apps like Alter, and it lets you send custom parameters with your requests. This tool has been so useful to me, and I'm just hoping that this is helpful to some of you as well. Remember to check the description for a link to all the resources that I have mentioned. You should not run into any issues if you follow all the steps I covered here, but if you do, AI actually knows LiteLLM pretty well, so it can help you with that too. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, you can sign up to my newsletter to stay up to date with what I'm up to. I'll see you in the next one.